All right, Shalom. This is the brothers from GMS Louisiana Saints, the New Orleans camp, with another lesson. But before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. And we're just going to get straight into it, starting it off with Isaiah 55, verse 11.
This is Isaiah 55 and 11. It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
As it said, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. All the prophecies that are written in the scriptures will come to pass,
Yes.
and nothing will happen to avert those prophecies from coming to their fulfillment. And one of the main prophecies we're waiting for right now, besides the mandatory implementation of the mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant, is this third woe taking place, the War of Armageddon, World War III, the battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which will be nuclear. Nuclear missiles will be shot to the ends of the earth.
Right.
And the main place that's going to feel that heat is the United States of America. And in this video, we're going to be going into an article on RT.com talking about tensions between the U.S. and Russia. And just know that if peace treaties fall apart, or if peace treaties are renewed, or new peace treaties and nuclear weapons bans talks happen, it's all futile at the end of the day.
Yep.
Because as it said in Isaiah 55, verse 11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but accomplish that which I please, that coming nuclear destruction. And nuclear destruction is written all throughout the scriptures about the missiles and the nuclear fire destroying things. And an example of that is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10.
This is 2 Peter 3 and 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
And what do you think's going to melt the elements with fervent heat and burn up the works in the earth? Those nuclear tipped ICBMs.
Sure.
I'm just going to get into the article.
Let's go. Okay.
Let's see something real quick.
No problem. Okay.
And it's on RT.com.
Yep. It says, with less than 7 weeks left before the new START arms treaty expire, Russia once again urges U.S. to sign extension.
And what's beautiful is that the title said Russia urges the U.S. to sign the extension to try to keep a nuclear conflict from coming to pass. But hey, through the scriptures, we know that Russia is going to be the main one leading the nuclear destruction against the United States of America.
It says, the Russian embassy in Washington has once again called on the U.S. to extend the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, New START, due to expired in February. The decision to end the agreement was made unilaterally by the White House. It says New START is the primary tool regulating Russia and American nuclear arsenal, but has been repeatedly attacked by President Donald Trump.
And hey, all throughout the Trump presidency, Trump pulled the U.S. out of a lot of nuclear weapons treaty. First, you had the INF, or the Intermediary Nuclear Forces Treaty. Intermediary or International Nuclear Forces Treaty, and then you just had the U.S. pull out of the Open Skies Treaty. You're seeing how the Most High is putting it on the minds of these different heads of state to pull back the restrictions on nuclear weapons to lead to that third woe.
Yep. It says, who has refused any offer from Moscow to continue the deal past its upcoming end date. The fresh apparel, I just want to make sure I'm sure.
Appeal.
The fresh appeal comes on the 10th anniversary of New START's ratification by the U.S. Senate. It said, as things stay now, the treaty is doomed to expire on February 5th, 2021. President Vladimir Putin proposal from December 2019 to extend it for 5 years without preconditions still stand. The embassy's statement reads, the extension will give Russia and the U.S. time to find common ground on the ways to adopt the arms control
regime
to today's security environment. According to the diplomats, the treaty has managed to reduce warheads by a third and has enabled 328 on-site inspections in the last decade. We called the U.S. side to use what little time we have left till February 5th to save New START for the benefit of our two countries and the whole world. The statement concluded. President Trump's opposition to New START first arose in 2017 when he told Putin via a telephone call that it favored Russia and it was one of a severe bad deal negotiation by Obama administrations. Since then, the Russian leader has publicly offered the U.S. an extension without preconditions on multiple occasions, all of which have been turned down. Incoming U.S. President Joe Biden has voiced his support for the treaty, but would have just 2 weeks to get an extension signed after taking office in January 20th.
Hey, so like we said earlier, it doesn't matter if treaties are renewed, if they expire, or if new treaties are set up, or whoever the president of the United States, Russia, or any of these other countries are. At the end of the day, that third woe, that nuclear woe, will come to pass, and nuclear missiles are going to be shot to the ends of the earth. And what's funny is that it always seems to be Russia trying to keep these treaties going to try to avert a nuclear conflict from taking place. But with these precepts we're about to get into, it'll show that it's going to be Russia that is going to lead the nuclear destruction against the United States of America.
And this is Jeremiah 50:9. It says, for lo, I will rise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country.
Hey, and that north country is Russia, because what's north of the United States? You've got Canada, the Arctic Ocean, and then Russia. And also, Russia shooting its missiles across the Arctic to hit its targets in the United States is the shortest trajectory time for its nuclear missiles to hit the U.S. And a lot of information's been coming out over the past couple of years on how Russia's building back up its military forces in that Arctic Ocean region. It's the Most High setting everything up for those nuclear missiles to start flying.
That's right.
And that assembly of great nations are not only Russia's allies like China, Iran, and North Korea, but also the allies of the United States of America, such as Britain, France, Germany, South Korea, these other NATO nations, etc., who in that day are going to turn against the United States of America and ally themselves with that North country to altogether shoot 200 million nuclear missiles onto Babylon, the United States of America.
It says, and they shall set themselves in array against her, for then she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expertman, none shall return in vain.
And those arrows are symbolic for those nuclear missiles, because what you have to remember is that when the prophets saw these visions thousands of years ago, they didn't know what a modern day nuclear tipped ICBM was,
right.
So they had to describe it the best way they could with what they knew during their times, ancient weapons of war like bows and arrows, swords, spears, javelins, etc., etc.
Horses.
Horses, mighty men, as it says in Joel chapter 2.
Yep. This is Isaiah 13:17.
And hey, when those 200 million nuclear missiles hit the United States of America, that's going to be all she wrote. As we're about to get into with this Isaiah 13, the only thing that's going to be left is a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland.
That's right. This is Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
And that's speaking about the spiritual Medes, or the Russians, because besides being known in the scriptures as the North Country, Russia is also known as the Medes in Isaiah 13 and 17, as well as Gog in Ezekiel chapter 38.
That's right. It said, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight
In it.
delighted in it.
And that's symbolic for Russia in that day not regarding peace talks or peace treaties
Right.
or weapons bans or anything like that. When that day comes for them to shoot their nuclear missiles, the Most High is going to put the spirit on them for all those nations to push that red button without having any second thoughts.
That's right. It said, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children.
And what a bow shoot? Arrows. So those bows are symbolic for the different silos and launch platforms that these missiles are going to be fired from. And hey, a lot of information has also been coming out about Russia testing new missiles, as well as in 2021 planning on implementing the Avant-Garde hypersonic glider into their military forces, and it's nuclear capable. And those hypersonic missiles, as they stand right now, are able to penetrate any anti-missile defense system out there. And people speculate that Russia's 10 years ahead of America when it comes to hypersonic weapons. So that's just the Most High putting the minds on these different scientists and weapons makers to make these super advanced weapons. So when the time comes for them to shoot those missiles, they're all going to hit their targets without a hitch. And hey, it says that in Joel chapter 2, they shall fall upon the sword and not be wounded, talking about those nuclear missiles, and that sword is symbolic for those anti-missile defense systems. The missiles are gonna symbolically fall on it and not be wounded, meaning they're gonna get past them and hit their targets.
Right. It says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of Chaldeans, excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
And how did the Most High overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah? With fire and brimstone from the sky.
That's right.
And also, just like Russia is known as other names in the scriptures, America is as well. Besides being known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures, it's also known as a spiritual Sodom and Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8. So as the Most High overthrew ancient Sodom and Gomorrah with fire and brimstone from the sky, he's going to overthrow this modern day Sodom and Gomorrah with modern fire and brimstone from the sky. 200 million nuclear tipped ICBMs.
That's right. This is Isaiah 13 and 20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
Hey, so when those 200 million nuclear missiles hit this place, they're going to turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea. Then after the dust settles, it's going to be an uninhabitable, desolate wasteland that's going to stand as a memorial as to what a wicked kingdom looks like and how not to govern the earth, and what the judgment and punishment is for afflicting the apple of the Most High's eye, the true children of Israel, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And to you sincere Akim out there, hey, with each passing day, we're getting closer and closer to this third woe. You're hearing about talks of the new lockdowns, food shortages, martial law, the vaccine, and ultimately the chip, the mark of the beast. And we know that when that chip is mandatorily implemented, hey, there's going to be the hour of temptation, and then that third woe is going to kick off and go full force.
That's right.
So now more than ever, you should have all 10 toes down in this truth, pushing this word as hard as you possibly can to make your calling and election sure and be saved from this coming destruction of Jacob's trouble and that nuclear fire.
That's right.
Any points you want to make?
No.
So with that, we hope this video was edifying. And again, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. Shalom.
Shalom.